I have a very clear beginning and a very clear end. I don't exactly know how they're gonna get there. 10 hours straight kind of thing. My issue is not finishing books. What I do have issue with is figuring out exactly like what I am missing. I don't wanna have to do anything with the challenge for the next foreseeable future. Last week, we hit a really exciting goal. We hit 600 subscribers. Some of you have found my channel through my AuthorTube content, and some of you have found my channel through this one video that did super duper well seasonally. Regardless of the way that you found my channel, I am glad that you are here. And I thought to myself, what would be a good way to celebrate this milestone? And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool if I wrote for 600 minutes, 1 minute for each subscriber? And that equals 10 hours. This is gonna be my first challenge that is like this, and I've seen a bunch of other people do it on AuthorTube, so I am very excited to see how it goes. Without further ado, let the challenge begin. Good morning, everybody. It is currently a little bit past 10 a.m., so I am getting started a little bit later than I would like to, but it's not too bad. Generally, I would be annoyed with the heater being so loud in this room, but we're in the middle of a winter storm, so we're going to just let it run. I've always been a little bit intimidated by these challenges. I never thought that I would be one of those people that would be able to do a 8-hour straight challenge, 10-hour straight challenge. I've seen 12-hour straight several times. I'm not sure why. I think I was worried that I would hype it up too much, that I would think, psh, oh, that's easy. And then I'd have a really hard time, get frustrated, and then end up quitting halfway through. So because of that, I am going to make this a little bit easier on myself. I know that it is still meant to be a challenge, but we also need to be reasonable with ourselves and take care of ourselves. I am going to be doing 10 hours total. I'm going to do my best to do 10 hours within the next 24 hours, but if I can't, I'm still going to accomplish 10 hours of writing within these next couple of days. Basically, what I want to do today is get done as much as I can without burning out. And then if there is any leftover time, there might be a chance that 10 hours is really easy. Who knows? But just in case it's not, and I've never done one of these challenges before, and I'm already starting off with 10 hours, I will be patient with myself, and I am going to give myself tomorrow to make up for whatever time I don't do today. To help me out a little bit with this initially, I was thinking of going to a local coffee shop to write in until basically my computer runs out of battery. I will bring my charger with me too, but if I can't find an outlet, or if they just don't have outlets over there, then that's what the plan is going to be. So we're gonna do a little bit of an outfit change, and then I will decide which coffee shop I'm going to, because I generally don't go to coffee shops, so this will be a brand new experience for me, and then we will take it from there. Okay, so we have just arrived at a place called Kingdom Coffee. It looked very like nice and spacious and airy, so that's kind of what led me to wanting to go to this coffee shop for at least my first time. So just a bit of a recap of where exactly I'm at with my writing in general. I'm in kind of an interesting situation where I have 4 books that are completely written, like from beginning to end, at least within like a second or draft and a half. 3 of those books are within the same series. One of them has been like gone over by only me, I believe like 3 times in its entirety at least, and more like 5 times in the very beginning. I am really trying to look for beta readers. I've had some awful, terrible experiences with beta readers, unfortunately. I've also had some really great experiences with beta readers, but there was one instance in particular that I will make a video about later, and if you follow me on my Instagram, you heard a little bit more about it. So I've been really hesitant to try and look for kind of just random beta readers, because that's kind of how I ended up in that situation in the first place, but I am in desperate need of beta readers. Essentially, I was going into this challenge not really knowing what I could do other than just more editing that kind of seemed to be like me running in circles, because I really want to see what I am missing. And obviously, with just my blinders on of me being the only person that has looked at this manuscript, I'm not going to be able to find out what I'm missing. So I was a little bit at a loss initially. And then I remembered that there was a portion that I wanted to do in the second book of my trilogy where I actually wanted to add in an entire new subplot. And on average, that was going to be about 100 pages because I realized my second book was much shorter than my first book. And I felt like there just needed to be more to the story. And I realized once you got to the third book, a lot of these characters are introduced initially. And I thought, well, what if I introduce them in the second book, but I put them in an entirely different subplot and a different area? So that's what I'm going to be working on today, because I only have a few portions of that part written out. Maybe if for some reason, I end up getting bored of writing that, I am also more than happy to write or go over some edits of my own stuff. I do have some things that I'm also beta reading. I have decided I'm not going to make that a part of this challenge. This really is going to be more so just catching up on my own work. All right, so let's go in. Hello everybody, I just got back. It's been about an hour since I have written for this challenge that I'm doing today. I got an hour under my belt, so we just have 9 more hours to go. I highly doubt that I will be able to accomplish all of it today, but that's okay because I was not anticipating that that was going to be the case. I took an hour to get myself something warm to eat because my feet are feeling it. It is about highest right now today, I think it's gonna be like 8 degrees, which is not very common for the spot that I live in. We do get snow, but not half as much snow as we've gotten now. So the setup's gonna be a little crazy. Cue the blankets that are over the windows instead of the curtains because they were not insulating the space well enough. But I feel like it was really great to go to the coffee shop first. I think that that helped me focus in a little bit more on what I needed to do and some things that I was going to accomplish later. Essentially, I finished writing all of the scenes that I had kind of already thought up with and planned. But now, my ice machine is just deciding to scream at me. And now, what I have realized I need to do is put together a little bit more of a cohesive outline, because at this point, I really just have a couple of plot points here and there. I have a very clear beginning and a very clear end of how all of these characters interact with each other, but I don't exactly know how they're going to get there. Obviously, there is going to be a rebellion, but I don't know quite exactly how everything is going to work. So one of the main goals for today for writing is definitely going to be making a more cohesive outline. Another thing that I want to do is really study up on authoritative regimes and make sure that I am doing everything accurately. I want to make sure that I do justice to this story. So that's another thing that I was going to be doing. So it might be even more of a research day that might take up a little bit of my time. Not all of it, but a little bit. And then I am going to continue on. The third thing that I definitely want to do is go back into my other manuscripts and try and connect as many pieces as possible from the first book to this secondary part. There are quite a few different things that the main character either suspects or guesses in the first book now that she is going to be no longer in the same setting as the secondary characters. I want there to be a lot of evidence that a lot of things that she thought were correct. So that's something else that I am planning on implementing here. It is very chilly and very cold, so I am basically just going to bundle up here and try to get as much work done as possible within the next however long it may take until I need a break.
그 세 글자 네 눈에 떠올라 잠깐만
Howdy everybody. We have hit the 3-hour mark. Looks like it is about like 4 o'clock. I have taken a small little break after doing the next 2 hours. I think that I have noticed that I really start to fade after about an hour and a half. I feel like an hour and a half if I stopped at an hour and a half and took a break, because I haven't really been taking too many breaks other than unintentional breaks where I became a little bit distracted and then was like, oh wait, I'm doing a thing. I feel like an hour and a half is really the most that I can do, and honestly I feel like I shouldn't even try to do an hour and a half. I really should try and take some more consistent breaks. Like I feel like after 20 to 40 minutes, like giving myself a little 5-minute break, I'd be able to actually stay on task a little bit better, which is probably why I've only been able to get 3 hours done. But hey, 3 hours is still very good. That's more writing than I've done in the past couple of weeks. I think it's been just especially hard with the way that all of my stories are going. I feel like I'm in such a different place with my writing process than I ever really have been before. Like my issue is not finishing books. It's not like I can write the very beginnings of a book and even the middle of it and then I just never finish it. That's never really been my issue. I've never really had a problem with finishing first drafts before. What I do have issue with is figuring out exactly like what I am missing. The blinders that are like on my end that I'm not noticing or I'm not describing well enough, you know? And this is the part where I get to say the thing that I'm very bad at. And I am very bad at reaching out to other people. I'm very bad at supporting other people through also their AuthorTube channel stuff. I feel like if I was a little bit better at that, being a little bit more of a hype person, then I probably would be able to make good connections with people who are also writers and who are also writers, and we can beta read each other's work. That's like the goal that I want to get to. I want to get to the goal where I can connect with enough people that I also start to get work to edit, because I also feel like that in turn would make me a better writer as well. And it's really frustrating because I have run into a lot of people who are like, oh, I'll beta read, but you have to pay me. And that always feels a little bit weird to me. I feel like that's not necessarily what beta reading is meant to be about. If you want to get paid to edit, that's fine. Consider yourself more of an editor than a beta reader. I think that I have been a little bit disheartened by the way that people use beta reading as like a way to get money, when realistically I feel like that's not, from what I understand and what I have been told, is necessarily the point of beta reading. And so it's kind of a bummer, and it stinks that that happens. I know that there are a couple of beta readers that I have had that have just been fantastic, spectacular, wonderful, and I would really love to reach out to those people. I haven't reached out to some of them in like about a year. It's been a difficult year. But I know that that's like the next step, right? That's the next step in the process for all of this. And I feel like I'm not really going to be able to grow as a writer if I don't figure out a way to be able to support and connect with people. So that is something that is on me, something that I need to figure out, learn, and practice. So this is a commitment to myself that I really do want to do that. As far as what we have been able to accomplish today, I feel like we've actually gotten a lot done. I completely went through and wrote out an entire new section, a new section that I had in the back of my mind and I actually thought that I already wrote, but then I couldn't find it anywhere. So I rewrote that section. I started writing the very beginnings of another section, and I really started pouring in a little bit more into the outline. It's not as put together as I would like it to be. It's not as detailed as I was hoping I could get it, but it is a very good start. I at least can see the next step in the progression of the story. And realistically, that's pretty much all I need right now. As much as I would love to finish writing this portion of the second book, I have a feeling that it's not going to turn out that way, and that it will probably need quite a bit more planning to be able to be put together as efficiently as it should be. So we are on to hour 3. We're going to go on to hour 4. I'm really, really hoping that I can get more than halfway. That's kind of like the hope, is that I can get more than halfway, because if I can't, then I'm basically going to have just as busy of a writing day today as I will tomorrow. I wasn't hoping to split it into 2 days. I was really hoping to do the majority in one day and then the next day kind of make it more catch up. So let's
plan on that. Let's plan on that being a thing. And I will check back in with you guys maybe at like hour 5. Maybe I'll try and do like, here's what I'm gonna do. I have an idea. I am going to write for another hour, try and figure out some other outline things, potentially write in some additional sections for the next portion, and then I'm gonna make some chocolate chip cookies because it is super snowy outside and it just feels like the best weather to have homemade cookies. So we're gonna take a break, make those cookies, and then we'll continue on with the next hour, and then I will catch up with you guys.
Cantarolar o sopro do mar, se aventurar.
Hello, we have successfully gotten to the halfway mark. We have written for 5 hours. It is now 8 p.m. I know that a lot of you will probably be saying, wait, it's 8 p.m. Didn't you start at 11? Yes, I did start at 11. And I took some breaks, and I think that that is a good thing. However, I'm very interested to see how much of a roll I can get on with these last 5 hours. Don't think I'll be able to accomplish all of them today, which was not the expectation even from the beginning. But I'm gonna do the most that I can. Unfortunately, I feel like, as much as I hate to say it, I am a little bit more of a night owl than I am a morning person. I'm definitely not a morning person at all. But even at night, I tend to get a little bit sleepy. I don't get sleepy too early, but I definitely don't like staying up too late. I don't have a natural inclination to stay up until 1 or 2 unless I'm having a hard time and I have a lot of anxiety and can't fall asleep. So we'll see how much we can do tonight. Again, this isn't going to be lassie. This isn't going to be something that I am going to like force myself to do. And if anything, I feel like I have been more happy to write, giving myself a goal, but also being generous with how that goal is accomplished. I'm sorry if all of you guys were really, really hoping for like a hardcore 10 hours straight kind of thing. I just knew that that wasn't realistic for my first time. Maybe one day when I get a little bit better at these and I practice some more, which I would love to do, I'm going to take it a little bit easier on myself. Would you like to say hi to everybody? Oh, she said no. McNabb said yes, though. Can you give me a good sit, bud? Anything else that you want to say to the people out there? Ooh, he's doing his slow blinks. He's happy. Happy boy. It's a shame that it's not really focusing on his face very well. We can fix that. There we go. Oh, you're so handsome. You're a handsome boy. Did you know? Say goodbye. Oh, he's feeling shy. He didn't want to say goodbye. I feel like I definitely do have 2 more hours left in me. I feel like I would be surprised if I did less than 2 hours. So if I get to 7 hours today, that is technically like almost a full day of work. Almost. Almost, but not quite a full-time job kind of set of hours. I think that this challenge also taught me a lot about what I want to do as an author in the future, kind of realistically understanding the length of time and how it feels to actually write for 8 hours. Granted, if you are an actual full-time author, you probably have a lot of other things that you are doing alongside of writing. There are probably a lot of moving parts and a lot of people that are a part of that process if you are a full-time author, especially if you're a traditional author. I think that for self-publishing, you still might need to talk to some people, but it's just like to a different degree. So this has been a really good eye-opener for me of, would I actually have fun doing this all day, every day? And I think the answer is yes. I think the answer is yes, even if I didn't do a technical full day. I gotta do another video later where I do a little bit more of a setup, like my day in the life of a full-time author or something like that. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling and I'm gonna go write. So this is going to be my last update for the first day that we are doing this, and I am happy to let you know that we did hit 7 hours. I am so happy that we did hit 7 hours in one day because I was so tempted to just hit it at 6 hours when I hit the 6 hours. I got to a point in the first draft of the secondary plot point that I want to put into my second book in my trilogy, and I kind of hit a wall. I mean, I'd been working for 6 hours just on this portion alone and trying to put together different plot points and outlining. So it's not really a surprise that I hit that wall. I was really bummed because I didn't really have any other plans to work on anything else. I was tempted to work on some of the beta reading transcripts that I have been wanting to work on for other people, but I just felt like I really wanted to work on my own stuff for this challenge since I did make so much time in between. Since I do have so much time, I might as well, really work on my own stuff, and I will be able to beta read stuff in no time at all. It's a lot easier when it's not your work. It's a lot easier when you are just looking... Goodness. It's a lot easier when you're looking at a piece of work as an outsider because then you pick up on a lot of things that maybe the initial writer, in their mind, they were able to know some background and understanding of the story because it's in their mind all the time. But as a reader, I might not know everything if it's not put on the page. So it's pretty easy for me, at least I think, to see gaps in writing material if it's not my work. If it's my work, there's no chance. Main reason why I am desperate for beta readers. I need help. I was thinking about potentially working on my young adult sci-fi, and then I realized that I had just finished getting through the second draft of those. That's another book that I really need beta readers on. I just need beta readers. I just need them. It's weird because I am at the point in my writing journey where I feel like doing writing sprints and all of these sorts of things are no longer as helpful as they were before. And they certainly help a lot of people. They help me, but not at the point of writing that I am in right now, unfortunately. And I have not ever really gotten to this threshold before. It's very interesting to have already completely written out books that just need a lot of attention and a lot of priming. I've got the generalized structure of said sculpture. I don't have anything smoothed out or any major details that have been truly vetted. But I was trying to look for something to do. And I thought to myself, well, I know that I wanted to wait until I got beta readers to continue drafting my first book in the trilogy, which I have drafted 5 times. And it's still not exactly where I want it to be. But then I remembered there was this trend. There is a trend that is going on. I see it a lot on writers' Instagrams where they make funny little posts of how they overuse certain words that people say you should delete these words because they're not necessary. Words like just and suddenly, all that kind of stuff. And so I got curious and I wondered, if I jump over to my other book that is completely finished, that I have drafted 3 to 5 times dependent on what the section is inside of the book. A lot of the beginning has been drafted 4 or 5 times, and then at the end of the book, it's more of an unfinished version of it because you need to fill in a lot of the gaps in the beginning to have the end make sense. So I went through and just started typing in a bunch of these words. And for some of them, I was pretty proud of myself for not using the word too much. The word suddenly. Suddenly was only used about 10 times and I was able to delete them all. I was very proud of myself for that. And then the other word was that. Not good. It wasn't good. I used the word that a lot. And in some cases, what's nice about these words is you can use these words sometimes, not all of the time. And occasionally they do add depth to the sentence or at least sentence structure. A lot of the time you can delete it and the sentence says the exact same thing and it seems crisper. I have not done that before because I have felt like I don't have too many manuscripts that are quite ready to be at that point. But this one was. So that was fun and that took up about an hour. And I think that I'm actually going to continue doing that for the beginning of what I'm going to do tomorrow, which is only 3 hours. Not bad. I could do 3 hours. I did 7 hours today. But it is about like 10:40 p.m. So I'm gonna go to bed, and I am hoping that I will be able to get up earlier tomorrow. I think that was part of the reason why I wasn't able to get all of the hours that I was hoping I would get for writing. One, because I am being pretty easy on myself, and two, because I woke up late. I think the next time that I do this, if there is a next time, I would like to do this again, actually. This has really helped invigorate me to get out of my writing slump. I think that this has actually been really helpful. As overdone as I feel like it is, it's actually really helped. I'm gonna go to bed. Have a good night. Sweet dreams. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Also, hey y'all, how's it going? And welcome to day 2 of this writing challenge. I got another very late start. It is now almost 3 p.m. and that is where I am going to begin the last 3 hours of this stretch. But I still have to admit, 10 hours of writing in 2 days is still quite a bit. That's still definitely doing like part-time writing, even though they weren't split up evenly. I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to continue on with the search of a lot of the filler words that might be in my finished manuscript for the first book in my trilogy series that I have written. And I feel like that will be a little bit more fun, a bit more line edits, and something that definitely needs to be done but is often forgotten about. I feel like I will be able to get that done before 3 hours is up. At least I hope so. That's the hope. So up until that point, then I will give some updates about what I'm going to do afterwards. And then we'll be about done with this challenge. So let's get to it. All right, I had to actually charge my computer because it was running out of battery, so I figured that this would be a good time to do probably my last check-in until I complete the 10 hours of writing. I was trying to get through this whole big list of different filler words that I could take out of my manuscript, and it is taking a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I have gotten about like an hour and a half in to my 3-hour slot of today, and I only got through the words that have less than 50 instances. I went through all the words and I wrote down how many times each of the words was found in the manuscript, and there were some where I only had 1 instance, which I thought was pretty good. Some of them I had more, like kind of on the upper end of the small amount of words that I had, kind of more around like the 20 to 40 range. And now I'm heading into the words where I have 70 or 200 instances of these words. And the word that has the most instances, which I'm not planning on taking away all of these words, but the word that has 860 in my manuscript. That's a lot. That's a lot of words. And I might not be able to get through all of the that's, but if I can get through the rest of the words on this list, I will consider this a win. And that's probably going to be the next hour and a half that I have for this challenge. It's crazy how fast this has gone by, and honestly how helpful this was. I kind of thought that this would be unhelpful, and you would think that that's kind of like backwards thinking. But a lot of times whenever I really set out to do these big challenges, it almost kind of hinders my work because I have to push through the challenge. And then after the challenge is done, I don't want to have to do anything with the challenge for the next foreseeable future because it was too much. But I think that I did a good job of maintaining a balance here. So I actually very much would love to do this again, and each time perhaps maybe up the ante a little bit. I'm going to finish up my writing. I will see you in the next hour and a half. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up so that I know you like this content and I can make more of it for you. You can also find me on Instagram at by_Jasmine Dayton to get even more content about writing. Sayonara, you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Sorry, I like grabbing this because it's fluffy.